Michael collapsed on the kitchen floor. He never regained consciousness. Michael Brandon Cochran was gone. And his cause of death was listed as brain swelling caused by low blood sugar, and his manner of death was ruled natural. But there was nothing natural about Michael's death. Inside the fridge, they found a bottle of Humalog insulin, and neither Natalie nor Michael were diabetic. They alleged that she killed him with a lethal dose of insulin, but proving this was not going to be easy. They wanted a medical examiner to perform a specialized test. To my understanding, he basically said that the hypoglycemia was so severe that an overdose of insulin was Michael's cause of death. So on October 23rd of 2023, Natalie was re-indicted for first-degree murder. The two biggest things the prosecution needed to convince the jury of was that Michael was a healthy 38-year-old man. It would prove that he had no reason to have suddenly collapsed with a blood sugar of 21. And then they needed to prove that he knew nothing about the Ponzi scheme to help support the motive of why she would want to kill him. The defense, on the other hand, it was their position that Michael's death was the result of pumping himself full of steroids and supplements. Considering she was a pharmacist, the prosecution wanted to drive home the fact that she had intimate knowledge on how to poison him. On cross-examination, the defense tried to get Jennifer to admit that Michael's health was bad, asking about the Mexican supplements that he was allegedly taking and about his past hospitalizations. But like the others, she was adamant that he was healthy. Chris said that he had never heard of these so-called Mexican medications and that anything Michael was taking supplement-wise just came from GNC. The defense attorney also asked specifically about Michael's use of steroids and anabolics. But Chris said that to his knowledge, his best friend didn't take steroids or anabolics. Michael wasn't taking any medications that would have caused his blood sugar to drop as low as 21. The two star witnesses for the defense actually were the Cochran children. They both said that he was not very involved in their lives and that he was always the one working on the business, not their mom. Both of them said that he took a lot of supplements. She also stated that her dad told her that he was taking steroids from Mexico. But after that, testimony was over. And I'm happy to say that verdict was guilty. And in the end, the jury ruled that Natalie Cochran should not receive mercy, and therefore the judge sentenced her to life in prison without parole. Natalie's defense team has filed motions for acquittal and a new trial, but those motions were luckily denied. So unless they end up filing a motion that ends up being granted, then she will remain in prison for the rest of her life, which in my opinion is exactly where she belongs.